success. And we're also going to look at how to structure your content to help reach your entire audience and how to measure your KPIs or key performance indices by audience segment. And once we go through all that, we'll take a look at how this measurement fits into the larger picture of YouTube optimization and promotion. And we'll also take a moment to go through any questions that you might have. So speaking of questions, we have our Director of Marketing on the line here that is going to be handling collecting and sharing some of those questions at the end of the session. So if you have a question while you're thinking about it, go ahead and type it into the comment box. It will not just go out into the ether. We'll be collecting those and answering questions at the end of the session. So while you're thinking of it, just type it in and we'll make sure it doesn't get lost. And of course, you can always ask questions once we make it through to the very end. So with that, let's get going with some obligatory YouTube stats. This wouldn't be a YouTube webinar without a bunch of stats, so I thought I'd get them all out in the first slide. Just in case you're on the fence about why you should be using YouTube or if YouTube is in fact a big deal, we have some great stats here to show you that it is in fact worthwhile. We're looking at over 1 billion unique users per month watching over 6 billion hours of video. We have over 100 hours uploaded every 60 seconds. So in the time it took me to say that, another 100 hours of video is on YouTube. YouTube also reaches more U.S. adults aged 18 to 34 than any cable network. 25% of those views coming from mobile. And YouTube is the second largest search engine after Google. So if these are, in fact, new stats for you, feel free to go ahead and take a screenshot of this to read later, because we're going to move on to how to optimize your video or how to measure success on your video. And certainly, I wouldn't be in search engine optimization if I didn't say that content is king. So, of course, you want to start with the highest quality video that you can to then optimize and promote from there. And speaking of, the two areas that you really do need to focus on to have a successful video are, in fact, optimization and promotion. Now, on the optimization side, you'll certainly hear people talking about search engine optimization. And as we mentioned in some of those earlier stats, YouTube is the second largest search engine, so search optimization does play a big role in terms of finding the right kinds of keywords to use in your title, description, tags. I mean, even in the script of your video, you want to make sure that you're connecting with what people are actually searching for. But that's not where optimization ends either. We also need to look at what I would call platform optimization on YouTube. So these are things like optimizing the annotations that you have on a video, the call to actions, the playlisting, the comments and responding to videos. All these things also are considered optimization, but don't necessarily fall into that search category. On the promotion side, really have no new news here. We're really looking at your paid, your earned, and your owned media. So, of course, there are paid placements to drive audience and viewers to your video, and certainly you already most likely have earned and owned channels that you can take advantage of. So if you already have audiences on other social networks, like, say, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, then sharing your YouTube video on those platforms will certainly help increase awareness and drive engagement to your video. And other thing on the own side is something as simple as embedding your own YouTube video on your own website actually does help your video on the optimization side. So with these two things, they really do work in a symbiotic relationship, if you will, because, again, promoting your video to the right kinds of audience are going to help increase the amount of views and watch time on those videos, which will in turn help the search ranking and exposure of the video from there. So these two things in combination are ultimately going to help your video become a success. So we'll stop here and talk about, when I say a success, what exactly are we talking about? Are we talking about views? Well, views are certainly the easiest metric to see if you can go to any watch page and find it. But throughout this presentation, we're going to talk about how the real measure of success is no longer just views, but audience engagement. So we'll talk a little bit about what exactly engagement means. But let's talk a little bit about why that has changed in the first place. And basically, back when views were king, it was fairly easy to just get views at whatever cost possible or whatever means possible for a new video. This is what a lot of video strategy was about 2-3 years ago. Was that it was easy to drive cheap and prevalent views by using things like misleading thumbnails, robot views, hidden autoplayers, or just straight up scraping the tags off of a competitor's video and pasting them into your own to start appearing within related or search results from there. So a lot of these perhaps seedier view gathering areas were used almost like a booster rocket. So you get enough of these low quality fake views and hopefully your video would hit the homepage or the most viewed video within those first couple of days. And then from there, so many people visited the homepage or the top viewed videos that you would actually start to get real people watching your video, and you could stop or crank down some of those perhaps seedier tactics. Well, thankfully, with the new YouTube algorithm updates, that doesn't necessarily work anymore. And here's why. Because about a year or two ago, the YouTube algorithm started to factor in engagement. And specifically, we're talking about your video's watch time. So how long they're watching that particular video, and also how long they're staying on YouTube after watching that video. Also looking at engagement metrics like comments, thumbs up, and even thumbs down. I think you'll hear the example a lot of Rebecca Black's Friday. Ranks very well, plenty of views, probably the most disliked video ever. A dislike is still an engagement. So now with these things incorporated into the algorithm, it makes some of these lower quality or fake views a lot easier to spot. Because now you can really see a video that has a lot of views, but perhaps a small amount of engagement. It's easy to spot these videos and, of course, not rank them as well in the important areas of YouTube. So that means now that a video with less views can actually outrank a video with more views if it does, in fact, have a greater percentage of engagement for those viewers. So this video here on the right would end up winning out in the search results, in the related videos, and even on YouTube's homepage for that matter. So here's why that matters specifically, is that the average, you look at the average overall traffic by source, and we'll go ahead and look at your related videos and search. Other than just direct hits to a video, these are the two largest drivers of traffic to the content that you produce. And these are now controlled by this new algorithm. So you can't get into these areas with just views alone. Also, we'll take a look at those same related videos and search on the average watch time per day. You'll see that those certainly do drive higher watch times than things like external links or embeds. I also do want to go ahead and point out that some of the highest watch times are actually coming from your subscribers or subscriptions in general. So with these things in mind, just the fact that some of the biggest traffic drivers are now related to engagement, and that subscribers to your video channel actually watch more content and attribute to more watch time, we can really start to say that we don't need to necessarily focus just on the view, but we can focus on what comes or what's at the center of that view, which happens to be your own audience. So to increase things like engagement, watch time, comments, and likes, you need to really look at and help understand your audience and what they want to watch. So I'd like to take a look at that audience and divide it up into sort of 3 different areas. You have your viewers, your fans, and then you have what you'd call your super fans. So viewers, of course, are anybody that comes in to watch your video. This was normally what you would have as your success metric in the past, perhaps, is just how many views. But certainly we do want to add new viewers. Fans are people that are casual fans, at least, are people that have subscribed to your channel and actively want to see more of the videos that you produce. And then, of course, you have your super fans. This is even a term that YouTube used when talking about their homepage at VidCon this year. The super fans are the people that, of course, are watching every video as it comes out. They're commenting, they're sharing, they're very, very active in the community, and they end up being some of the biggest advocates for the content that you produce. So with these three different audience segments, I think they both come with three different sort of KPIs or tracking measurements. So if we're looking at tracking, on the viewer side, I'm going to be looking mostly at a video's watch time and how that video does to convert people into subscribers. If we're creating a video that we want to speak and engage mostly with our fans, then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at things like comments and likes and engaging there. And then on the superfan side of things, we're really concerned or looking at things like sharing of the video, and we're also looking at our superfans or fans audience. Because it's another thing to consider is that people that are watching your video may have their own audience triangles, if you will, that might dwarf the size of your own. And so there could be some real opportunities to kind of cross-promote or create collaboration videos to help expand and grow your audience as well. So when it comes to measuring these things, I usually tend to do it on a per video basis, or when a new video is being released or it's in the ideation phase, we try to look at what type of viewer we really do want to reach. And it's not to say you can't reach all three in one video. That's certainly possible. But sometimes certain types of content fall nicely within this sort of pyramid. So you have things like how-to videos, tutorials, or anything else that I would call an evergreen video. So evergreen video is just a video that can continue to get views beyond just a week or even a month for that matter. So there is certain content you create that is going to be relevant for a larger or wider amount of time, and that can also help you attract new viewers and hopefully convert them into new subscribers. On the fan side, some types of content that work well to engage with fans are certainly question and answer type videos, or anything about industry news, or really anything, any kind of video that welcomes a kind of open dialogue or back and forth communication with your viewers. These are going to be the areas or the types of videos that really drive these comments and likes and the engagement that's going to help you grow your fan base. And then for the super fan side of things, there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Of course, they're going to be watching and commenting and responding to a lot of the content you're already creating, but this is also an opportunity to offer bonus videos or perhaps behind-the-scenes content that really only a super fan would find or watch. And these are things that you could easily still track watch time across. And then, like I said before, some of these super fans or fans may also have audiences that you can that you might want to reach as well. So that opens up some opportunities for collaboration videos. So you can see some great examples now, even of brands that are collaborating with YouTube, because they both actually bring large audiences to the table. So by working together, they can create content that speaks to both the brand's fans and that creator's fans as well. So that brings us to sort of a new look for the YouTube homepage even. Certainly the homepage of old was very much focused on the amount of views that a video got within a certain time period, and it was easy to then just add as many views as possible to a video to get to that homepage. Now the homepage, it's not necessarily based on views at all anymore. It's not even chronological for that matter. The homepage itself is going to be factoring in who you're subscribed to, the watch time you've had on other videos, the types of videos that you like, and even the comments that you've made across other videos. So even this year at VidCon, reps from Google were talking about how the changes they made to the YouTube homepage had actually increased the amount of views from superfans in the largest amounts ever. So I've never seen this amount of repeat watching, commenting, and engagement from superfans from any other type of homepage configuration. So certainly this is always going to be in flux and changing. But I think the main thing is, instead of just focusing, of course, on just views, it's looking at those fans and super fans and getting them involved in the content that you're going to be creating for your channel. So this can come in the form of course, asking questions, but of course, responding to and incorporating feedback that you get from the people that watch your videos the most. And ultimately, if you're engaging with these kind of top two tiers of your audience, then that's going to help you certainly attract new viewers and then hopefully convert them into fans and super fans moving forward. And the other reason why it's so important to grow and cultivate a quality audience on YouTube is that there are far more tools to look at and analyze the audience that you're growing on your YouTube channel. Right now, YouTube has in beta, but their top fans beta at youtube.com/audience. Now, you'll only get access to this information if your channel has 5,000 or more subscribers, but it's certainly a great reason to start cultivating and growing that subscriber base so you can have this kind of information. And again, if you're just driving kind of faceless, cheap views to your account, you're not going to get this kind of engagement data or subscriber base at all. So this is just incredibly useful and helpful information. Not only can we see some of the most recent comments from my fan base, you can see how engaged they are, and this is updated daily, so I can see who's the most engaged with my content on a day-to-day basis. I can also go ahead and add some of these fans to my specific circles on Google+, so I can share directly with my fans or my top fans and move those people around however I see fit for my channel or for your brand. And the other really important thing here, and what I think makes this an incredibly powerful collaboration tool, is the fact that you can see the number of subscribers that your audience actually has as well. So this can really unlock some additional audience, triangles that you can perhaps add into your own, or at least even approach some of these fans with either creative collaboration opportunities or ideas, again, for videos you can create and work together on. So those were at least some of the basics. So we took a look at sort of the optimization and promotion side and how these two work in combination to help your video be successful. We talked a little bit about how the YouTube algorithm has changed in the past couple of years and how it went from focusing mostly on views to now incorporating overall watch time on the YouTube platform. And we also looked at sort of dividing your audience into 3 different areas and creating content to engage with all 3 areas of your audience. So that leaves us with sort of, where does this, success metrics and engagement, where does this fall in the kind of larger picture of managing a YouTube channel? So here, this is our kind of overall YouTube process overview here at Magnet Media, which really spans everything from the production of the video all the way down to the engagement side. So when we're looking at producing a video, this is where we would come in for any keyword research, any keyword seasonality, or any insights that we might have from our community. So if that's perhaps questions that people have left in certain videos, or just ideas that people leave you in your comments. So incorporating some of those insights from your fans and super fans. On the optimization side, this is really everything after you upload the video. So a lot of people treat the upload of the video as sort of the finish line, but as you can see, that's really just the start on this process. So once we have that video uploaded, we're looking at adding things like annotations, video captions, or transcripts. We're incorporating that keyword research into the video's metadata, including the video's title, description, tags, and so on. We're looking at optimizing and making an engaging thumbnail for that video. And then, of course, some of that platform optimization we talked about at the beginning when it comes to managing your playlists and even with your annotations, making sure that they're, in fact, driving to whatever KPI that you're trying to affect. From that, once we have all those things in place, we can move into the promotion phase, where we look at sort of the social promotion, paid promotion, and network. These really are the kind of the same things we talked about on the first slide in terms of the your owned earned and paid medias. And that's where we also focus on only driving paid placements to the right types of audience. So again, we're not just looking for sort of bulk bargain basement views, but we're looking at intelligent ways to get in front of the people that that we know historically engage with the content that we produce. And then from there, it really is adding that engagement layer to the mix. So we're looking at responding to comments, moderating comments, and rolling this all up into a report. There are stats that show that active comment moderation on a video helps increase views by up to 4 times, because that just starts a dialogue, keeps people engaged, and keeps them coming back to the video. And also, once a creator or the uploader of a video is actually responding back, it shows that there's someone there, and that they care enough about the content to keep the conversation going there. So it even cuts down on some of the less appropriate or perhaps mean comments that people leave as well. And then again, once you're through that engage side of things, we wrap all of this up into reporting and bring that back to the production of the next piece of content that we're producing into that community insights side. So ultimately, this is the entire process for creating, or how we like to at least produce and optimize and engage with content on YouTube. And then, of course, a consistent audience requires consistent content. So setting up some of these efficiencies and areas will help make sure you never run out of content ideas, and that you're creating content ideas based on what your audience really wants. So with that, here at Magnet Media, we offer a variety of services that help you set up this type of system for your own YouTube channel. And what we really bring into the mix is team, training, and tools. So whether it means just doing a cursory audit to see how you're performing in these different areas, or if it means providing the training to take on some of these areas in-house for your own channel, or if it means providing some of the tools and team so that we can provide expertise and efficiencies in these areas. Ultimately, if you're firing on all these cylinders here, you're going to drive more of that engagement, which is going to, again, increase your placement within related, search, homepage, and all the places that you want to be to have a consistent and engaged audience. So with that, I know we moved a little quickly on that, but I guess that's what happens when you're kind of talking into a void. I'd like to get some questions going here and just hear back from the audience. So again, if you had left any questions in the comment box or question box, Ryan has hopefully scooped those up. Otherwise, if you have some new questions or something you're just thinking of, feel free to enter that in right now.
Sure. So Matt, this is Ryan. I'm Director of Marketing at Magnet. I'll just chime in and kind of shoot some of these questions over. We do have a handful here already that kind of cropped up as you're going through. The first one here, Dane was asking about average watch time per day specifically. And I had actually asked if you might be able to just jump back to that slide where you were talking about average watch time, and if there was any sort of further insight you could give into, I guess, how that's tracked and how that affects the whole rigmarole, I suppose, specifically at watch time per day. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to at least roll that up into a simple question. So was it more just curiosity on what this average watch time per day means?
That was my understanding. Yes, he had just asked if we could go back to that slide, and he was particularly interested in that particular metric. Dane, did you have a specific question about? Well, I should jump ahead. He also asked. This is kind of a separate piece, but I'll bring them up at the same time. Is how you're tracking results for viewers, fans, and super fans. As in, how do you find the difference between a super fan and a fan? Just by looking at the analytics, and then how you'd quantify that. So I guess how you kind of come up with those different buckets and sort of what's the measurement there of to come up with those category buckets of fans?
Oh, certainly, and that's a great question. When it comes to the fans, viewers, fans, and super fans, I generally try to look at it on a video by video basis. So when I'm creating a certain piece of content, I'm looking at exactly what part of that audience I'm trying to reach or what metric I want to impact the most. So certainly there are pieces of video that are more to increase viewership. So then I'll look at the metrics of watch time and subscribers or things like that more so than others. But when it comes to kind of the individuals of who's a fan and who's a super fan, I really primarily use the YouTube Top Fans beta tool because that actually separates at least your top fans. That's what I would call that would be kind of within that fan segment, but that happens kind of algorithmically on a day-to-day basis. So it looks at who's watching your content, who's commenting on it, liking it, and sharing it, and it adds these people into a top fans kind of list or circle automatically for you. And then you can also have a list of your actual subscribers, so you can see the kind of the difference between your total subscribers, the people that you consider fans, and then your super fans are people that if you're engaging with your audience and engaging with your fans, those are people that you should be able to identify and sort of hand select yourself based on just knowing that they're always commenting or sharing or that they have engaged audiences themselves. And that's something that you can just do more manually, whereas top fans are a bit more automated or algorithmic thanks to some of these new tools.
Sure. On that same note, we had a couple of other questions about superfans. One was how would one engage with a superfan outside of YouTube, if that's even possible?
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways to do that. I think it's just starting that conversation with them, and you can do that through whatever their social channels or profiles are. So it can be as simple as reaching out to them with a direct message on Twitter. Certainly with some of these new beta audience tools that are on YouTube, they're certainly going to push you to start using Google Plus more. So that's another simple way or easy way to reach out to some of these super fans and say, hey, I appreciate everything or all the insights or feedback you've been giving to the show or to these videos, and we want to see if we can find a way to work together. And I think more times than not, you'll find that person is very excited to figure something out and work with you.
Also on that note, and this you may have sort of covered this, but Rick was asking if there were best practices you'd suggest for finding superfans specific to an industry which a company might want to recruit and engage with.
Yeah, I think, it might be a bit simplistic, but it comes down to actually subscribing to and kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of videos within your niche. So take a look at, what sort of topic or niche or range of content that you want to be a part of, and go ahead and subscribe to all the channels that are producing content of that type, or go ahead and perform some of those keyword searches on the YouTube platform and see if there's a certain producer or types of videos that are kind of ranking consistently across all of those terms. And then from there, you can do just even a little bit of audience research on a per video basis by going into some of their most viewed videos or most recent videos and seeing if there are people that are, if you're noticing trends of the same types of users or people commenting or sharing or engaging with that video. So it's at least a good start to try to see what types of people are creating content that's engaging in the space, and also seeing if there are already some sort of super fans of that content that might end up being super fans of your content as well.
Great. We had another question here. Well, we've got several actually, so where to begin? But this is great. One in particular, thoughts on embedding videos on your website and whether or not embeds drive engagement, contribute to that overall engagement score on YouTube.
Got it. I am all for embedding YouTube videos on your own site and getting other people or sites to embed your video as well. It might not be necessarily a metric that's going to help your engagement so much, because I think as you'll see, at least on the watch time per day, embedded videos are perhaps a little bit lower. And that's only because watch time incorporates total watch time on the YouTube platform. So you're already kind of starting out at a disadvantage because they're not watching the video on YouTube. So usually once you watch an embedded video, you don't, unless you have an annotation to click on, you're not going to continue watching a YouTube video after that. But I digress. Video embeds sort of act like old school SEO backlinks. Um, so if the video is embedded on high quality or authority sites, then that's going to pass some ranking potential or relevance to that video, especially if that video is embedded and sitting on a page with relevant content to what that video is about. So that can happen naturally for certain types of video, but for most clients and people we talk to, the one area that they have the most control over for embeds is their own website. So it's looking at having an embed strategy even on your own site. So are you embedding that video on a page with relevant content, or are you embedding it at all, or are you embedding it in a way that it's just sitting there with a bunch of other videos and no other content to add context?
Got it. To that note, a follow-up question on that. Scott was just asking if watch time then is it really only relevant on YouTube? I guess his question is, so is watch time only watch time on YouTube? So is that only really being affected when it's watched on the platform as opposed to an embed?
It certainly does count on the
Metric
embed, as you
itself,
can
yeah.
see,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to have higher watch times when the video is watched on YouTube, and that's just the name of the game. Of course, YouTube is looking at this metric because they, of course, want to keep people on YouTube longer. But that's not just watching videos that you upload. That's actually just watching videos on the YouTube platform in general. So that's not to say that you can't have 2-minute videos or 5-minute videos that have a high watch time. It's more of looking at structuring your video content to increase watch time on your own videos. So that's looking at things like annotations and related videos, so that when someone finishes watching one of your videos, you give them options to click and watch something that falls next in line, or something else that might be of interest based on that. And so if you can kind of structure and link together your own videos in that way, not only will you have higher watch times, but you'll also start to see your own videos appear within the related results more frequently than before, which, again, like a snowball, is going to help increase your watch time even more from there.
Another question from Kimberly. What type of content attributes give videos on YouTube a higher propensity for virality? Have you found a trend there as far as type of content or specific attributes to content?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly can be in any industry. Videos can go viral, if you will. It's mostly just if a video is inherently shareable, if it delights, informs, or makes you laugh. So certainly any of those things are going to help a video go viral. But it's also for some of these shorter videos where you really want it to go viral, it's looking at sort of the context of the video and why someone would want to share that. Most of the time, when people share a video or share any piece of content, it's because they want to say more about themselves than about the content itself. So certain types of videos that get shared or go viral is because it gives that person an opportunity to say something about themselves.
Got it.
So whether that's a video like things that New Yorkers hate about tourists that got shared by a lot of people that live in New York, or a lot of tourists that made the same mistakes. The video wasn't necessarily the funniest thing in the world, but it gave viewers that context to then share it and either mark off things on that list or, again, say more about themselves in the video.
Right. Question from Paulina. She's asking, how effective is deleting, reporting, or blocking certain users on your videos that only comment negative things? And then how does that affect your actual subscribers?
Got it. Well, I mean, I certainly feel that if someone is just being just nasty in the comments, then deleting or blocking them is helpful. But certainly that can be, you could just be digging a hole and filling it back up again, because people that want to actively just be a jerk can easily go and open up a new account and keep coming back. So, I mean, I have this on my own videos. No matter how good or bad they end up doing, I always have at least one dislike from someone that just is an active disliker of mine. So I think as long as you're just staying on top of any offensive or terrible comments and just getting rid of those. And then just spending more time engaging with the people that you want to have conversations with, it's going to help push that kind of noise to the bottom. Because you'll see that it's usually replies or voted up comments, or any time that the uploader comments, that's going to actually stay on top of the comment section versus comments that are just, isolated one-time comments.
Right.
So I would say focus more on engaging with the people that you want to have a conversation with, and some of those, nastier trolls will hopefully, begin to fade to the bottom of the page.
Got it. On a different note, Scott has a question about keywords, asking how important are keywords in the search and discovery process?
I think the keywords are incredibly important, especially at the start or when your video is first uploaded, because at that point, YouTube doesn't have any of this other data to go off of. So that really all they have are your title, description, and tags, and maybe even in some level the file name of the video when you upload it. So having that stuff already researched and ready to go right at upload is going to be a huge help to making sure your video is aligned and organized and put in the right place at the start. And from there, the ranking algorithm is going to take in other factors as they come in. So it's going to look at what people do after they watch that video, or how people are finding your video from there and how they're watching it. So if you're showing up as related because of the tags that you have, but when people click on that related video, they exit right away, then you're probably not going to be showing as related for those tags, even if you added more tags of that nature. So tags are a good place to get you there and to get started, but ultimately if the content isn't going to hold that engagement, then you can have all the tags in the world and it's not going to do too much difference from there.
Got it. Coming back a bit to the superfan discussion, Mitch asked if you had any recommendations about curating a list of superfans, and if there's maybe a good way to communicate with them as a group, I should say.
Yeah, and I guess I feel like I'm certainly towing the Google line here, but just because of this new Top Fans beta, I've found myself using Google Plus a lot more. And I think just to get yourself set up for some of the future changes and morphing of the YouTube platform, I would say starting to at least play around and use Google Plus a bit more would be helpful, because you'll see already that with the super fans or the top fan beta at youtube.com/audience, you can go ahead and add some of your top fans right into a top fan circle. And they even have options to share videos directly with that circle privately. So I could come out with a video as unlisted, share it just with my top fans, and have a conversation with just my top fans about that video, without anyone other than my top fans being allowed to participate. So that could even go back to the other question about how you deal with, just trolls or people you don't want commenting. Well, sometimes it can be just releasing a video to just your fans to have a more intelligent conversation about it. But when it comes to the super fan side of things, that's something that even for my own channels is that I create and kind of curate that list as part of a Google Plus circle. I have my top fans in there. I move people in, and they don't necessarily know they're my top fans, but if I have certain things to share, or perhaps bonus content, or even I just want their opinions or advice on things, then I can send it directly to that circle and get responses back pretty easily.
Got it. This is sort of a general piece that you've touched on in different ways, but Raj has a specific question just asking in general, how would you suggest some ways to develop audience loyalty?
Well, I think I certainly, at least in passing, threw out a quote from Freddie Wong, but it was that a consistent audience requires consistent content. So I think if you want to have a more loyal audience, you need to make sure your audience knows where they can find you on a regular basis. So part of that, I think, really comes down to having a strong content calendar, so that audience members know that certain types of videos come out on certain days or certain times, or the fact that you do have a video coming out either weekly, monthly, or in some cases daily.
Got it.
And I think another side of that is if you have that part down, if you want audience loyalty, it's incorporate and listen to your audience. So I like to use the example of the PBS Idea channel, where they have an incredible audience and an incredible channel for that matter, but they incorporate the intelligent comments that people leave on last week's video in the current week's video. So they say, like, here's some great responses we got from last week, and they read them off, and it helps continue that conversation, and it also gives people some incentive to comment and take a bit more time to leave a comment better than, great video or something like that. And that's going to help cultivate that more loyal audience.
Got it. Got it. We had another question. You'd mentioned in several places about the YouTube algorithm and how it determines what sort of is surfaced up to the homepage and the way that's changed over time. And I know that's updated on a regular basis. But the question was basically if you had any guesses about the future maybe of that algorithm and maybe where some of the indicators might be showing that it's headed.
Yeah, I see it more and more based on your activity on YouTube. So it's not even, I mean, it certainly is about watch time. So it's looking at the stuff I was most engaged in, but more and more I see that I watch, I watched a video about Breaking Bad the other day. Now when I go to my homepage, I got 6 other Breaking Bad videos that I could possibly watch. So, and these are not from people I subscribe to. It's just because I was engaged in these videos on this topic that I'm now, some of these other videos on the same topic are bubbling up to my homepage. So I think already that's going to become a bigger part of at least that homepage algorithm. But at least for the foreseeable future, I see things like watch time and engagement becoming a larger and larger part because just as we kind of talked about before, looking at just views alone without engagement, I don't think it's going to get you the kind of results it used to years ago.
Got it. So we're kind of going to have to wrap it up here in a minute, but I'll just toss out one or two more quick questions here. Anthony asked, yeah, we got they keep coming, so let's keep bringing them. Anthony asked if you think you can get loyalty if you underutilize YouTube and have comments turned off and so forth, essentially just using it, as he says, as a one-way communication. Would you still be able to develop some loyalty that way?
I mean, I'm sure you certainly can, and then you're really going to have to focus on the quality of the content itself. And perhaps, I think you'd have to use other ways for the audience to perhaps either participate or to, I don't know, at least help shape some of that content moving forward. So if comments are turned off, are there other areas that these viewers can go to offer their insights or opinions or to help engage with this content that you can collect? Because I understand in some cases you just don't want comments enabled on a video. It could even be for legal reasons or something like that. But ultimately, if it's not for legal reasons, then I would look at why you don't want comments in the first place. But assuming it's for a good reason, I would look at some other channels that you do allow dialogue. So whether that be Facebook, Twitter, your own website, see if you can leverage those to not only share those videos, but maybe focus the conversation there. So you're still getting that kind of data to use.
Got it. I think this will probably be our last question here, but Dane was questioning the subscriber. It looks like you've got it up there on the screen, but the metric about whether subscribers are actually watching an average of 60 minutes. Just sort of questioning the validity, and I guess wondering, what sort of would be if that's the average, sort of what would be, if what would be the high end and sort of the low end of how that comes out as being such a pretty fairly impressive number just for the average for subscribers against the rest of those metrics you're looking at.
Oh yeah, no, it certainly is, and it looks like a high number. And the thing is that what you have to consider here too is that we're still, and YouTube is doing a lot of work on this end. There's still not a lot of people that necessarily understand how the subscription side of things work. So the data is, people that are subscribers are somewhat of the the ravenous viewers of content or even early adopters of the YouTube platform. And I think another thing to keep in mind on that almost 60, an hour a day, that's not just on your own videos. So it's not to say that every one of your subscribers is watching your content for an hour, but they're spending at least an hour a day on the YouTube platform.
That makes sense.
And I also got to just take a guess out there too that I only know one day in my life, so that's got to be Dane Golden. Just a quick shout out.
Indeed. All right, I think that's it for the question. And Dane just said, yes, it's me. But
Hey.
thanks for the questions, Dane. So thanks. I'll go ahead and let you and just wrap up, but that pretty much carries us through. So thanks, Matt.
All right. Well, yeah, thank you, everybody. Those are some awesome questions, and I want to keep the conversation going, as they say. So let me go back. Got a couple. At least I got an email address I want to make sure you guys have access to. So moving forward here, Ryan, who's handling all the questions here, we like to make sure he keeps handling these questions. So if you do have any additional questions or questions about how to either work with us or about other types of services and things we can offer, please send them to Ryan, our swear engine, at magnetmediafilms.com. And of course, you can learn more about us and some of the other services that we offer at magnetmediafilms.com. And we're also on all of the social networks. I didn't put them all on this one sheet, but you'll be able to find them.
For sure. And I'll just chime in and say we will follow up by email and share this presentation for everyone as well. So you guys can check this out after the fact as well. Thanks again, Matt.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And of course, keep in touch and stay tuned for some more content down the road. And with that, thank you guys for joining. Have a good rest of your day.